Hey everyone. If you're watching live, I'm working on a workshop to help pharmacists get remote jobs. And I thought it would be fun if you have questions about getting a job, if you're looking out there, you're feeling confused. I'd love to answer any questions that you may have. Feel free to write in the chat. Um, but I just thought, hey, this could be fun while I'm building out this workshop. So whenever I'm working on a presentation or a course, I love just dumping out of my mind all the subjects that come to mind. And so I'm going to be doing a mind map here. If you're watching live, feel free to say, hey, hope you're doing well this fine Wednesday afternoon or evening or whenever you're watching this in the future. So if you have anything, just let me know and I'll try to jump in. But while that's going on, I'm going to be working on kind of my brain dump and then organization for a remote job workshop. Celine, if you're watching this is dedicated to you. I know you had questions about remote job stuff and the workshop that I'm putting together. So this is me kind of formulating my thoughts about it. Hey, Nicole, thanks for saying hey. Hope you're well today. Nice to see you. Are you looking for a remote job, Nicole? Or are you just here for fun? Either way, I'm happy to hear from you. Okay, so remote jobs. First, I want to think about all the things that come to mind. So I'm going to zoom out here. I'm using Mural. If you've ever tried Mural, it's really great at this kind of thing. Okay, so mind mapping, brain dumping, job sectors. Oops. I don't know what that's about. What else comes to mind? Remote jobs. Work from home versus return to work. Lots of executives want them to come back. What else comes to mind? Do I have to move? Lots of remote jobs talk about you got to live in the state where the job is happening. What else? Do I need more education, certifications, credentials? Oops, if I can spell credentials. Remote pharmacist jobs. Competitive. Hey, Lena, thanks for posting. Hourly jobs versus salary. Yeah, I think this. Okay, how do I add? There we go. Oops. Already added. So I'm going to say types of jobs. From that, we have salaried. We have contract jobs, which a lot of people want to avoid taking. We have hourly, PRN. Actually, if you're looking for a remote job that is clinical, consult focused, and you have a board certification, let me know. I have an employer that is looking right now. And I think it's a separate topic, but I think it's worth, I think it's worth talking about like the future of pharmacy. Because a lot of people think that it's not gonna go this way. No, I don't want that. For those of you watching live, any other questions or big ideas come from this? I think these are some of the main ones. All right, so where are the jobs? I don't know. That's not true. I do know. So PBMs, pharmacy benefit management, managed care come to mind. It's a huge sector. I'm going to say staff positions. So that's things like mail order. That is remote order entry. That is call centers. Where else are the jobs? I think of the wide, huge world of pharma. Oh, there's so much here. I think I'll just highlight a few. Medical info. What else? Med affairs. I think regulatory affairs probably fits in, but I think that's enough for at the moment. Excuse me. Oh man, this is getting wacky. Oh, I'm going to say clinical pharmacy. Specialty right now is a huge booming opportunity. One of our Happy PharmD coaches works from home as a specialty pharmacist. What else? I mean, you could probably even go back to PBM's managed care. Often they're specialty pharmacists working within those organizations. But I mean, you can do a lot of just clinical pharmacy in general remote. So I think from this, one thing that comes to mind, that I need to address in my workshop is, how do I do this? Oh boy. I'm going to say company examples. Actually, one of my team members right now is working on a list of like over 60 employers that are hiring right now, pharmacists who are working remotely. If you want that list, let me know. I'd be happy to send it to you. How do I make this not transparent? Come on. No. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. I don't know how to move that line either. Hey, Sophia. Yeah. Have you been looking for a remote job for a while? I'll write your name down, Sophia, to follow up with you later. It's very ugly right now. It's like a Word document. My team member's making it look pretty, but I'll take your name. Sophia, I don't know if you're connected with me on LinkedIn, but please do so. Oh, hey, Valentine. Yeah. I'll put you down for that list too. Okay. So one of the aspects is that it's super competitive. And I think a lot of people think about their application as the thing to like address. Truth of the matter is that it's just like tip of the iceberg. It's really not the thing to focus on. It's networking. That's the most important thing, in my opinion. Statistically, you're more likely to get an interview and job offer if you get a referral to the job. It's like a matter of, depending on what stat you look at, like 4 to 9 times more likely. And I think just matching experience. Lena, what do you mean internal hiring referrals too? Like that's the way to go? Yes. I'm actually working with a pharmacist right now who is working in a, I can't say, major healthcare health system. And that's where all of the opportunities are right now, is trying to get a remote job where she's doing everything she's doing now can be remote. But as I think a lot of people know, is that there's a lot of resistance to it. I think, wait, yeah, that's here. Work from home versus return to work. I think people want to know how to like overcome work from home, I'll say leader resistance. If there's any leaders watching, I'd love to know what you think about return to work versus work from home. I have my own thoughts about why that is. What else? I think we can look at trend data in our presentation. And I think something else that's not being talked about at all is negotiation. I mean, I've been career coaching now for like over 10 years. I've been in the pharmacy space since 2017, and I think I can count on one hand the number of people who have at least tried to negotiate on their own for a job. This list is starting to get too big of what I want to talk about in my presentation, but it's mind mapping. So I'm going to keep it. Do I have to move? I think a lot of people are concerned about like jobs that require moving. And I think a lot of people just see that on an application and they immediately shut down the conversation. I think they immediately are like, well, if they're not looking for someone who wants to move to Texas or Wyoming or Idaho, then I'm not even going to apply. But there's nothing about like applying to a job that says like you can't negotiate. You can't ask for that. And I also know people who have been working remotely for quite some time and they've moved. I'm not saying that that's ethical. I always encourage everyone to tell the truth. But like it's a part, it's the game that we play, guys. I think I would love to do some state research. It kind of makes me want to do a poll on LinkedIn about like who knows of state laws that demand this kind of thing. I think the main reason why people are asking for people to move to the state, even though it's a remote job, is this problem. Wonder if I can connect the two. That's my theory anyway. That leaders are laying the groundwork for remote jobs to enforce return to work. I think it's so funny that the movement got called return to work as if everyone who was working remotely wasn't working. They were just sitting on their butts, causing the company money. I'll put that right there. I think it's a little bit ridiculous. Future pharmacy. I often get inspired by people like Timothy Ongst of digital pharmacy, and I think it's the future. I don't think we're going to continue to ignore technology advancement. I think we're going to get more and more advanced, do more telehealth. I mean, we've seen huge explosive growth, but I think showing that data in the presentation may be helpful. Okay. Mind map complete. Did I miss anything? If anyone's watching live? What else? What other questions am I not asking? I feel like this is pretty good. This feels like a really great start. We got role examples, we have sectors, it's competitive. Oh, I didn't address this. Do I need more education or certifications? No. I mean, they help, but you don't need it. This is more like that's a Q&A. I can't spell credentials right. I'm just going to get rid of that word out of embarrassment. Oh, look at that. Thank you, Grammarly. All right. We got the future pharmacy. We got the return work from home movement, return to work movement. All right. I've brain dumped. So what I want to do, I'm actually going to create a new page here. And remote pharmacist jobs outline. Again, if you have a question about remote jobs, like just let me know right in the chat. Love to help you out if I can. Oh, and Sophie and Valentine, I'll get you that list of the pharmacist jobs that are for companies that are hiring remote pharmacists. I'll get you that list. It may not be until tomorrow or Friday, but don't let me forget, please. I'm writing a note down to myself, but I'm sometimes known to be forgetful. Okay. So we've got job sectors. Where are the jobs? We've got as a subsect like types of jobs, sectors. Lena, you got it. How do I say your last name? English is annoying and vowels never stay the same. Oh, and I see you too, Mecca. I'll add you to the list. Mecca Gordon and Lena. Is it Shokri? I apologize if I am brutalizing your name. I'll try to send you a DM over LinkedIn with that list. Okay, so we're going to break it down. I think we ought to talk about like the job search process, remote requirements. I think the future of pharmacy could go at the end as an inspirational note. By the way, if you're in our remote job bootcamp stuff, like, don't worry, I go all over this with you anyway. You're not missing anything here. This is more meant for people who don't know anything about what we do at the Happy Farm D. But again, would love your insight as well. Shukri, not Shokri. Shukri. And it's not your fault. It's not spelled as it should be pronounced. Yeah. I have often complained about how annoying English is. I mean, I can never pronounce a drug name correctly, let alone people's last names. That's why I'm so jealous of languages like Spanish, Japanese. Their syllables are usually very, very constant. You know, you don't pronounce an O as O E O U, you know, all that nonsense. Hmm. I think leading with like the big questions is super important. Whenever I run workshops, I always want to know, what do you want to learn by the end? If you're watching live, I'd love to know what you want to know. I'm guessing it's probably some of the things I've already outlined, but like maybe you've been looking for a while and you're not understanding how you're approaching a company. Maybe you're not understanding why you're getting rejected, or what you need to be doing differently, or you're trying networking, but like you're not getting anywhere. I'd love to know those kinds of questions. And there's no dumb questions here. I've been doing this now for quite some time, and pretty much everyone makes the same mistakes with their career. It's the same thing over and over again. I think talking about at the very beginning concerns is probably super important. Like, will I have to move? Will I be forced to return to work? Will work from home die with the pandemic? Hey, Mecca. Any tips? Congratulations on graduating. Although, did you just graduate last year, 2023, or are you about to graduate? My recommendation is get super curious about the job list that I'll send you. Try to see what industry trends are drawing you, what you care about. Is there a certain disease state that you are really interested in? Is there a certain technology or drug class that you want to know more about, or you feeling compelled to? And look to see who's in that space. What companies are trying to solve problems in those sectors? And as you'll see from the list, you know, the companies that I list are huge, multi-million, if not billion-dollar companies. And they're all over the place. They're helping people with all sorts of problems. And I think if you just get curious, this whole process of looking for a job can be a lot more fun. Okay, almost graduated. Congrats. Um, you're almost there. You're almost at the finish line. Get your license. Just focus on that. Start having conversations now with people in these fields, and just have a good time. I wish I wasn't so focused on getting a residency when I was a P4 student. I wish I would have just made connections with pharmacists who love what they were doing and try to learn as much as I could from them. How are resumes reviewed in big pharma companies? Great question, Lena. So the vast majority of them are using some sort of applicant tracking system or ATS. Many of them are using AI to go through and scan your resume for keywords. This is a lot better than what they're hoping to build, as they're trying to model out ATSs that are capable of inferring context from what you write. Right now, they're kind of at a Google level where like Google looks at web pages to find the answers to your questions or what you're searching for, like uh, cheapest light bulb that's eco-friendly, and it gives you a list of what it finds. That's what they're capable of doing now. So the key thing that I would encourage you, Lena, is to take keywords from job descriptions, um, and put those in your resume. Relate your experiences to the kind of work that they're looking for. Break down the skills by soft and hard skills, and then find experiences that match those skills that you have in for whatever that job is. So, for example, if you're wanting to get into med info or med writing and you've never published anything before, but you want to get into that space, what's the hard or soft skill? It's communication. It's taking complex information and giving it to a patient or a healthcare provider. So, boom, you've got your accomplishment to put on there to match the job description. Um, Regularly communicated complex clinical information to both patient, technician, colleague, and health, excuse me, healthcare provider. But we can definitely talk about that in this workshop. I think ATS is worth bringing up. I think talking about the application, networking, which is so often overlooked, and then the interview negotiation process. I think ATS is a part of the application. Oh, you're welcome, Mecca. I hope it's helpful. Oh, yeah, you said it again. Great. Um, what field are you looking into? I assume a remote job sound like fun. Valentine, is there a preferred resume format to use? No. As long as it's readable and consistent with your cover letter. In my program, I think we use like a remote. We use a resume template that is inspired by the Harvard Business Reviews template, which you can download for free just on anywhere on Google. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink your resume. If you're worried about the format, you're probably worried about the wrong problem. Hey, glad it was helpful. Keep the questions coming. It helps me brainstorm different ideas for this. I like to think of the requirements as like actual versus ideal. So I think for a lot of these jobs, what they really want is they want you to move to the location. They want to enforce return to work. Now, I could be wrong about this, and this is what I'm hoping I get feedback on, because this is a public forum, is I've been looking up state law as to whether or not there is a policy in place that demands that if someone is practicing pharmacy, especially in things like consults or providing information, that they are required to live in the state for that service. And I haven't found any law to back that up. I could be wrong. I'm not an incredibly thorough Sherlock Holmes, but I can't find a policy. I can't find anything. Methinks that it is the companies just want you available, which is so dumb. It's so dumb. Imagine like a remote job that is in Texas that requires you to move to Texas from, I don't know, California, Florida, and you move to what's on the fringes, El Paso. You move to El Paso, Texas, and then they want to tell you have to come into work in Dallas, Texas. That's like a 4, 5, 6 hour car ride. What's wrong with you? I could be wrong, but I would love someone who's maybe an expert, maybe a leader or manager to comment on that. Future of pharmacy. I think it's important to note out digital and telehealth. This is the future. I just read an article the other day that talked about the problem of pharmacy deserts being caused by the shortage of pharmacists coming into market because pharmacy schools can't fill up their class sizes anymore. And they left out the very idea that we live in an internet age. Oh no. We're creating pharmacy deserts because we don't have new grads that want to move into rural Utah. If only we had a giant communication system that connected the entire world over. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? This is the future. Come on. Pharmacists aren't practicing pharmacy anymore behind the counter. That is an old idea. Valentine. Okay, fine. You caught me. I don't know my Texas geography. Fine. Who would have thunk it that a pharmacist wanted to tell me that I was wrong? Just kidding. Just being teasing. Sorry. Yeah, I've driven through Texas a few times, and what a huge state full of nothing. Great food, but wow, it's empty. What am I missing here? Concerns, where are the jobs, the job search process, the remote requirements in the future? I feel like this is a pretty solid outline. I don't think I would include anything more in here. Now I just got to fill out the details. And that's pretty easy. Oops. Wow, that was really simple. I thought I was going to have more here. Prove it. Prove it. I'm trying to make a joke on the spot about your name. There's got to be some play on words here for someone with a name about love and the legal system. I don't know. I'm not that clever. Let me see if I can pull up that list. I think this is it. I don't know how much more I really want to add other than, I mean, the information here. The types of jobs is pretty easy. It's PBM, managed care. Oops. Specialty. I'll say staff pharmacist roles. If I can spell pharmacist. Clinical pharmacist. I think saying like remote order entry, mail order, support. So there's different support roles that pharmacists play within multiple organizations. Sometimes it's like within a subset, a specialty kind of role, but sometimes it's called clinical support. Clinical pharmacy. I mean, there's all sorts of jobs you can do remotely. Formulary management. There's at clinic management. The Veteran Affairs employs hundreds, if not probably thousands of farm. No, well, no, probably in the hundreds. I mean, the pandemic, practically everyone went remote. My old colleague from those days told me that he had been remote since the pandemic. So I think, it's, AM care to inpatient. It's all over the place. Mm, what else was on my mural? Pharma. Gosh, and pharma's flipping huge. There's so many different places to go in pharma. That's a sector, though. So is some of the stuff above. Mm-mm-mm. And actually, let's just do a quick Google search. Remote pharmacist jobs. Flex jobs. Sounds like you own a law firm, Valentine. Do you go by Val by short? That's what I would think. Valentine. Valentine. 3 syllables. Yep. Mail order, outreach. That's interesting. Medication management, account manager, academic detailer. This is getting more and more common. In fact, I should probably send that over to one of my clients. Holy cow. Hawaii needs some academic detailers. I want to live in Hawaii. You can't, I don't think you can see this. The salary is 102 to 221. We'll take anybody. And you could be paid potentially double what you are getting paid. Ooh, what an interesting job. You got to sign up though to check it out. I wonder if it's contract. There we are. Must work from Hawaii. Must work from Hawaii. They're doing it again. I haven't looked this up in a while. Why do remote jobs demand living in the state? State taxes and legal requirements. These are for jobs in general, though. What state legislation demands this of pharmacists? It even says here, telemedicine physician might require to hold certifications in both their home state and in the state of the patient. That is primarily determined by individual state law. Yeah, this is a real frustration. I think I'm going to need to do a little bit more of a deep dive here because I looked into this I don't know, 12 months ago, and I found conflicting evidence. And my conclusion at the time was like, I think it's just company policy. And I think the intention is to be proactive in case legislation changes. But I have not been able to find one state pharmacy law that demands this. Now, I can learn more, and who knows? How do you follow up with when? How do you follow up when you apply online and there's no contact name or phone number? Great question, Val. I saw your comment earlier. Um, you panic. um, so if this is a question you're asking, my guess is that you haven't necessarily done the proactive approach of getting a job referral. You're just applying blindly to a job online, which is fine. It's what most people do. However, um, like I highlighted before, when you have a contact in the company, you are 9 times more likely to get an interview. You are 4 times more likely to get a job offer. And depending on what sector you look at, 30 to 50% of every job open is filled by employee referral. So, like, this question that you're asking is coming from my humble opinion, not the greatest approach for your career. It deserves better. It's kind of like if lifting weights, you're lifting weights at a risk of hurting your back. You're probably putting in a lot of work to apply to jobs and not getting a whole lot of great results. So, what I would first recommend is that before you even apply to a job, that you network your way into meeting some of the people at the job, even if it isn't the hiring manager. But if you're at this point now and you're wondering what you need to do, I would recommend, at the very least, doing something simple like Email Hunter, or just type in like um, find email address on Google, and you'll see a bunch of providers of different organizations or websites that will help you identify um, people's email addresses. You could also just be a little sneaky. If you do a little bit of internet sleuthing and like you look at a company, depending on how big they are, you could take two approaches. If they're a smaller company, often people's email addresses are just their name or some combination of their name, at company name, right? So, for example, my email address is alex@thehappypharmd.com. If they're a bigger company, usually there's a format to their name. Like when I worked at the VA, it was the same format for everybody. And once you know the format, and you can find that out usually publicly or just Googling to see how people's email addresses are formatted, and you can send it that way. I do recommend getting your application in front of hiring managers. That is a smart idea. Lots of recruiters do this. But the best approach is to have a conversation. Managers are busy. They don't want to read all of the emails that they get. So, I but if you're in a panic and you've already applied or you're about to apply, my earnest recommendation is just call the company. Talk to the assistant and say, I just want to know who to address my letter to. I don't know who the hiring manager is. I don't need to talk to them. I just want to call them out by name. Rarely have I had problems with administrative assistants not being willing to give out names. Sometimes they're more guarded. And if that's the case, then I go further. Try calling again or on a different day and ask to speak with someone in the hiring department as you had a question regarding the hiring process, and talk to HR. Sometimes that could be a pain, and sometimes they're very they which is why I always go back to network, network, network. Just meet new people. Get curious, ask questions. It never hurts to know people. Was that helpful, Val? I can't see your lovely face, so I don't know if you're spitting at me or you think I'm cracked full of awful or great ideas. Let me know. Yeah, well, I think I have my outline. It was much faster than I thought it was going to take me. Thanks for hanging out with me. Let me know if you have any questions. For those of you that want that company list that hire pharmacists remotely, I'll try to send out hopefully by Friday. If I don't, please follow up with me. But I need to actually get ready for my next call. I'm going to be talking with a former client of ours who got in a remote job at Cigna. It's either Humana or Cigna. I forget which. And thanks, Lena. Yes. Reach out to HR via phone. Good. Congrats. And Lena, I got to look at your photo. It's really small on my screen, but it almost looks like there's a filter on it, like not cartoony, but just it's an interesting lighting. Is it a drawing? It's a drawing. It's really nice. Anyways, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I had fun answering your questions. Hopefully I was helpful. And if you have any other questions or you want to ask me private questions, because I understand sometimes you don't want to say everything, especially about looking for another job, feel free to just send me a message. Happy to chat. Thanks. And until I see you in the next one, take care.